Alright, we'll get one more window in here, and I'm going to use that option and drag technique. Now I'm going to zoom in, because though I have inside trim selected, it's drawn on the outside. This is really nothing to do with the wall. It's with the symbol or the plugin object. It's how it senses the wall. And when you make walls from polygons, you don't have control over which is the inside or outside of the wall, but no worries, you can select the wall. So I've selected this one segment of the wall, and I just choose reverse sides. And there we go, my trim is drawn now on the inside. So I just need to resize this. This is 42 in width. And do my positioning. It's 12 inches from the corner. So I'll choose set position. Choose my trim point. Choose my corner point. Enter in 12 and click OK. The next thing I want to do is I want to draw the existing wall. This wall down at the bottom that goes all the way across. We're going to change that in our remodel, but I want to get the original wall in there. So I'll choose the wall tool. And there are two different ways to position this. So one is I'll just draw from corner to corner. Now notice, though this wall has a door in it, I didn't draw a wall and stop and then pick it up again. I drew the complete wall, and then we'll cut the door into it using the door tool, just the way we did the windows and the other door. But I need to position it, and it needs to be 10 inches of interior space. So one way to do that is to pick up some smart points. And use our dimension tool. Oops. Let me do that again. Pick up some smart points. Oh, I see I'm in the first mode there. 1 point there, 1 point there, and I have 8'3". If I double click and I'll pin this corner, I can change that value to 10 feet and move the wall. Now I have the auto join walls tool selected, or option selected here, which keeps the walls moving together. I didn't break this wall apart from this wall, from the side wall. I enabled the wall join mode so that this wall stayed connected to the wall. I just repositioned it. So anywhere I move this wall, the wall heals in the old location and the new wall is moved intact. Another way to position the wall, let me go back, let me do this, is to use Smart Edge. And I find this is easier to use when you're drawing a brand new wall. So I'm going to activate the wall tool, and I'm going to select a mode that will allow me to control the right side, because I like to draw from left to right. So I'm going to double click on my Smart Edge, set my offset to 10 feet and click OK. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to the wall and pick up that Smart Edge. And now as I move my cursor away, when I get to 10 feet, there's my offset. So I can start drawing. Oh, but look, I chose the wrong wall style. Let me do that again. I wanted this one. I forgot to reset that. So remember, you can draw walls based on the inside line, the outside line, or the center point. There we go. There's my Smart Edge. I come up. There we go, because I want to have that 10-foot open space in the interior. And then I need to put the door in, so I'll go get my door again, or I could drag a copy from here. And I'll place it, open the door. I like to set the width first, so this is a 30-inch door. And I'll give it some trim. I'll include trim on both sides. I need to reverse that wall. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter here. There's not really an inside or an outside. And then the last thing I need to do is set that position. So I will go back up to the top here in the Object Info palette, set position. And we've got 6, 8.5 from the corner here to the trim. All right, so we have our walls and windows, and this wall and this door are going to disappear. And so one thing I can do is I can create a class, and I'm going to call this Old Walls. And then I'm going to edit that class. I'm going to use the graphic attributes of creation, and I'm going to give it a pattern, or you could give it a color or something, and then click OK. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the wall and put it in Old Walls. And yes, I want it to use that attributes. And then I'm going to select that door, and I'm going to do the same thing. Now I know it's not an old wall, but I guess I could have called this Old Doors and Walls. So anybody looking in this drawing can see the difference, that we've got our existing walls and that this is an old wall that's going to be demolished. You could put this in red, you could give it a pattern, but somehow I'm indicating that this wall is going to go away. I might make a note somewhere that this pattern means that it's going to be a wall that disappears. And then what I can do is I'll open up my navigation palette, but you could do this also from the organization palette. I like to have the navigation palette out. It's out somewhere, but I couldn't find it, so I'm just turning it off and turning it on again. And now what I can do is show two different drawings. I can show one with the old walls, obviously when I make viewports, and then I can turn them off and draw my new walls. And so I can have an existing floor plan with the old walls and a new floor plan with the new walls, and I don't have to keep jumping back and forth between layers. If I make one change, it gets changed to everything. I find this is a nice way to show existing and old or new. And when you create your viewport, you just select which walls you want to show in whatever particular viewport you're showing. So that's a nice way to use classes in your drawing. The last thing I want to do is I want to make a chimney. Now there's not a chimney symbol, but I'm going to make one. So it's 30 inches, let's say it's 12 inches wide by 30 inches. And I'm just going to place it in the wall, this rectangle here, and then I can extrude that. I can use push-pull and pull it up. It goes all the way up to the ceiling. I can give it a texture. Let's see, under render, if there are some brick I can use. If not, I can go to a texture library, but let's choose that. There's my texture. When I render this in OpenGL, there I have my chimney. The last thing I need to do is I need to position it. It is 38 inches from the corner. Now I could activate Move by Points in the third mode and use it exactly like we do for windows and doors. You can use this with any object. 38 inches. Except I wasn't careful about choosing the corners. I want that corner to that corner. There we go. 38. And position my object. I could use dimensions. I could use the move command if I wanted to. We haven't done that yet, so maybe I'll do that here. I'll go up to here and then choose Command M for move and move it down the screen 38. So you have lots of different ways to move stuff around, whatever you like. But very quickly I have an object, a custom 3D object that I made to look like a chimney. Now I'm noticing my windows here, they don't have any glass in them. Well, they do, but we can't actually see the glass. So what I'm going to do is see if I can do this all at once. So nope, shoot. So here's a note for sequencing. You have to go to Settings, Classes, Glazing, Clear. Now if I'd had my wits about me, I would have done this once and then duplicated them, but because I didn't, let's see if I can select these three at least because they're all the same size. Nope. Let me do one at a time. Settings is grayed out, so we get lots of practice doing this. I'll go classes, glazing, glazing, clear, settings, classes, glazing, clear, settings, classes, glazing, clear. You're getting the point by now. Classes, glazing, clear. Render this in OpenGL. Much better. Much better. I can see through the windows. I don't necessarily see the doors. Choosing the doors or the windows. Notice you can assign all different types of parts to various classes if you want. So you can set up a class and then assign and give it graphic attributes and assign each part to a class, which can get pretty complicated. Or you can just select it if you don't mind the whole thing being a color, and you can give it a color. And I'm not sure if you can give it a texture. Let's see if it would. No, it's picking up the wall, but not the individual window. There are just too many parts of the window, but you certainly can give it a uniform color. When we look at cabinets next week, we'll assign different parts, different colors, but you certainly could give it different colors, and then obviously you can add a lot more trim, a lot more information if you want. You can show muntins, you can show trim, you can put it give it a lintel. There's the trim under stool. I mean, all kinds of trim options you can make here. Or if you don't like any of them, you can use extrude along a path or make a 3D object and make your own trim. So you don't have to use these options. You can customize if you want.